The two Senate runoff elections in Georgia are heating up. Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler called Democratic challenger Raphael Warnock a radical liberal in a debate last night. He said she lied on Jesus by misquoting from his sermons. In the second debate, Democrat Jon Ossoff was alone on stage after Republican Senator David Perdue refused to take part. President Trump led a rally for Loeffler and Perdue on Saturday and repeated his false claim that the presidential election was rigged. Before the rally, he urged Georgia's Republican governor, Brian Kemp, to convene a special legislative session to overturn the election. Kemp and Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan issued a joint statement last night after some other Georgia Republicans called for legislators to name new electors. Kemp and Duncan said that would be illegal.
And Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan joins us now. Lieutenant Governor, good morning to you. Over the weekend, you said you were concerned by the president's continued attacks, baseless attacks on the election, and disgusted by the security threats that have followed those attacks. I'm curious, what was your breaking point?
Well, look, for 5 weeks, we've been working hard here to count every single legal vote here in Georgia. It has been unbelievable to see the mountains of misinformation continue to fly in from every angle. Literally stuff that can be debunked in 10 seconds or less. And so, yeah, we're focused on making sure we follow the letter of the law.
Lieutenant Governor, can you really say, when you talk about these mountains of misinformation, and I appreciate your focus on following the law, your colleague, Governor Raffensperger, or Secretary of State Raffensperger, has been doing the same. Are you really surprised by this behavior from the president, given that he has cast out on the election before the votes were cast, and all the way back to 2016, he was calling it rigged? I mean, can you really say this is out of character?
Well, my focus right now is that we make sure we have a very fair legal election, but also to get Senator Loeffler and Perdue reelected on January 5th. There is no scenario that I can see that it's helpful for the mountains of misinformation around election fraud in helping to turn out the vote on January 5th. My focus and my encouragement to the president, to his team, and to the senators trying to run for reelection, that they realign their focus on getting reelected. There is no fraud.
Respectfully, there are bigger things at stake here than just one election cycle. We're talking about attacks on democracy itself, and we're talking about threats to the safety of people alive and well today. When you think about the president's behavior here and now, it's unfortunate that the spotlight is on you and your colleagues there in the state of Georgia. Do you regret not speaking up when the president was attacking others in this way, endangering their safety? Do you wish you had done something sooner so that you and your colleagues were not in this situation now?
Well, I'm not certain of the basis of your question.
I'll tell you the basis, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. The president attacks dozens of people a year on Twitter, and in many cases, mayors, governors, senators, members of Congress, everyday citizens, members of the news media. They then need security because the president has stirred up his supporters and kind of sicked them on them. That's the basis of my question. Republicans did not speak up over 4 years of this happening. Now it's happening to Republicans. Do you regret, now that you've seen what it feels like, not speaking up sooner? That's the basis.
Well, I think there's a great opportunity for us to pivot here as Republicans. You know, a GOP 2.0 has got to include a better way to message. You know, 280 characters on Twitter is not a way to message to America. And certainly we've got an opportunity to your point, I think America as a whole wants leaders that are inspiring and not condescending. You know, I've got 3 boys I'm trying to raise. That's certainly the message I want to drive home with them each and every day. And, you know, I'm one of those folks that has added security because of the current conditions we're in. It's not fun. It's not American, to be honest with you, the words and the disparaging comments that continue to fly in. We're better than this. This is America.
Do you regret, sorry, Gail, if you're saying it's not American, and this is a person you voted for twice, President Trump, he's stirring this up, do you regret that vote? And what do you want other Republicans to do now to contain what is a deeply problematic situation for our society?
Yeah, I want us to focus on January 5th here in Georgia. This isn't only a big deal for us, for Republicans in Georgia. This is a big deal for Republicans all over the country as we focus in on trying. You know, I think it's important to understand Georgia's politics are such. We've got 8 statewide constitutional Republican officers. We've got Republican majorities in the state Senate and the state House. This is a conservative state, and we've got to make sure that we send those folks back to the polls on January 5th. On Election Day, an interesting statistic to understand, 53.7% of folks in Georgia voted for a Republican state senator. That's an important number to make sure that folks that are talking about, the misinformation around election fraud, 53.7% of folks voted for a Republican for the state Senate. That's a very big number.
Lieutenant Governor Duncan, I think you're right when you say it's not American. We are better than this. I think your three boys can be proud that you were at least trying to put out the correct information out there. I watched the whole 2-hour rally with my mouth was hanging open. And the thing that I want you to address again, it has been asked and answered. He played this tape, Geoff, where you see somebody bringing out a suitcase that he says are votes, and that they're doing something tricky with the votes. Could you please explain? You said it can be cleared up in 10 seconds. Could you please explain again what people are looking at and explain why there's nothing nefarious happening here?
Yeah, I think the Secretary of State's office did an incredible job of explaining this and walking back.
But he keeps playing the tape. He keeps playing the tape.
Well, look, I can't change somebody's mind,
I know.
But I can certainly continue to separate fact from fiction, and that's really the process we're in, is separating fact from fiction and moving on. It's certainly not helpful. As I said earlier in the interview, there's no scenario where this makes sense to help Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue get elected.
And nobody was pulling out ballots underneath the table and counting them, is the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate that folks go in that direction.
All right. Simple yes and no, because we do have to go. Do you think it's time for the 200 members of Congress who have yet to recognize the outcome of this election to step up and say it's over?
Joe Biden's going to be sworn in as the 46th president on January 20th, and it will still be America, and we will still have the Constitution, and we'll still have a vigorous debate about policy in the ongoing years.
Lieutenant Governor Duncan, thank you very much.
Thank you.